It was so fun to see you all coming in the chat. I haven't had people over in like 7 months, so this feels like the closest thing to it. Thanks for showing up. Okay, we're gonna get started in a minute. Hi, everybody. You know, I've gotta wear my glasses. I can't see this chat. Here we go. Okay. Oh, hi, mountains of Western North Carolina. Good to see you. No, Dad's not making a cameo today, but wouldn't that be fun? We should get him on here. He's actually been doing some really fun cameos on his Instagram account. Joe Ruggiero. I'll link to it below in the replay so you guys can check it out. And he's been doing all kinds of fun flower arrangements and fun things to keep us all inspired during this time. He might pop in the chat, so you may see him there. You can say hi that way. All right, you guys, so we are going to be making these delicious orange pecan crumb cake muffins. Now, if you were able to download the recipe from my website, then you can cook along with me. And if not, that's okay. It's in the description, or you can go there and print it out later. So this fun little Bake With Me episode is actually in connection with Give Essentials, which is one of the newest charities that I found out about that I think is really doing some great things, where they are helping the essential workers that you may not think about that are really putting themselves in harm's way right now. So the grocery store workers, the farmers that are growing our food, the Uber drivers, the Instacart delivery people, all of these people that right now are keeping our life going when life is really challenging. So if you want to know more about it, everything is in the description. They're trying to raise $100,000 this month for Labor Day. So most often Labor Day around the world is usually in May, but here in the States, it's in September. So this is Labor Day month, where we're saluting everybody who's working to keep us going. And there are a lot of food creators like me doing these live bake-alongs. So you can go to the Give Essentials website and check it out and join some of the other ones. It looked like some great ones too. I think I'll join a few as well. So hopefully you guys can support them. And yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is make the crumb topping. So these muffins have an amazing crumb topping to them. And part of what makes them so delicious is we're going to be using 2 different types of sugar. So I've got my white sugar. Can you guys see this? Let's just see. There. This reminds me of giving like live cooking classes with the mirror. There, right? That works. Can everybody see that? I think so. Okay. All right. We've got the white sugar going in. We've got some brown sugar going in, and you can just whisk that up. And then we're also going to put 6 tablespoons of flour. Now, if you're on the metric system, hello, this works. If you're on the metric system, all of my metric conversions are in the description too. So everybody can follow along, okay? I think I do need a stool. Somebody recommended that. I think that would be great for the next one. Let me know if we should do more of these. I think this could be fun. Once a month or every other week. I've got a great pumpkin scone recipe that we should do for fall, and that could be fun. I feel like people always have trouble with scones, so I could give you a lot of tips. All right, I think I gotta go back like this. Okay, then we're also going to add a 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Let's see here. And this is just gonna give them a really delicious fall flavor. So you can put that in. If you don't have cinnamon, you could also use pumpkin pie spice. That's another great one this time of year. And then my secret ingredient, and this is really the secret ingredient to crumb topping. We've got some baking powder here. And what that's going to do is puff up the crumb topping so it's not so dense. And it actually, I think, also makes it a little bit lighter and chewier. So we're going to do, let's see, 1/2 teaspoon of that going in. And then we're going to whisk that up. And then you're going to add some melted butter. So butter makes everything better, right? We're going to have 4 tablespoons of that. There. Now, as you stir your crumb topping, it might look a little dry at first. And the best way really to stir this, to see my mouth, is with a fork. So you can see now you're getting this beautiful crumb. And that's just what we want. I think it's best to start with the crumb topping first, because then that way it's all ready to go once our muffins are ready to hit the oven. So there, we did that. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to check the chat, see if anybody has any questions. This is the hard part. I need like my assistant to help me. Oh, hi from Thailand. Oh my gosh, I must be late where you are. That's crazy. Thanks for joining. Yes, once a month. Oh my gosh, Holland. Yes, all of my friends in Europe. That's great. Well, good to see everybody. Oh, Portugal. Yes, I had a wonderful trip to Lisbon a few years ago. We loved it. Love those egg tarts and all that sangria. So good. Oh, hi from Belgium. Hello. Yes, I was in Belgium once and froze to death in January. I don't think I'll go back in January, but the move rates were quite good. Great. Okay, you guys, this is awesome. Oh, hi from Paris. Bonjour, Paris. Okay, so now we are going to put this aside and get to work on the actual muffin recipe. Here we go. I really believe there's a muffin for all seasons. And this is my favorite muffin recipe because, excuse me for 1 second. It's so warming and comforting. And I find when the weather starts to change, that's when you really kind of crave all these flavors of fall. Yeah, let's see. This is the other side of my kitchen. So you guys usually don't see me on this side, but I think this works for live because I can put my laptop, you should see this operation I've got. I've got my laptop here, and then I have everything I need around me. So we'll see if it works. I gotta get the stool though, because I do think that's a bit of an issue. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 different types of sugar. So you've got 1/4 cup of white sugar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We're gonna put that in. I think the 2 types of sugar really work well for this muffin because the white sugar is going to make them really light and fluffy. Like that's the great thing about white sugar. That's sort of what it does. Where the brown sugar gives it a lot of flavor because of the molasses that's in it. So I like to use both. If you have one or the other, you certainly could just use 1/2 cup of one, not a problem. And then the other thing I like to add, and I just noticed that I think this is a very American thing, maple syrup. I just am curious, can you guys get maple syrup outside of the States? Like in other countries, do you guys use the maple syrup? So here in the States, we use it a lot for like pancakes and French toast. We put it on breakfast things, which just shows how much we like sweet things here. It's a bit of a sweet thing to do for the morning, but it's also really great in baking. If you don't have maple syrup, we're gonna do 3 tablespoons. I wouldn't use golden syrup because I think that's a little thick. Somebody asked that in the comments of the recipe video that I did the other day. I would just use 3 tablespoons more of brown sugar or of the white sugar. The golden syrup is just gonna be too thick, and I would be afraid you wouldn't get the light and fluffy texture that makes these muffins so delicious. Okay, once we got our sugars in, then we can add our eggs. So I've got 2 eggs here. Crack those in. And then we are going to add the fat. So when it comes to muffin recipes, if you've made a lot of my muffin recipes, you probably know this. I like to use at least a cup of fat, but like mix it. So depending on the muffin, I usually just do oil and butter. For this one, we want a lot of flavor. So we're going to do 3/4 cup of melted butter. And this has been cooled. So you want to cool it so you're not cooking those eggs. And a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. You could use canola oil, you could use grapeseed oil, all those would be good. I just wouldn't use olive oil because that might be a little bit too heavy. You'd have a really dense muffin. Throw these in the sink, can you? Okay, I need an assistant. I need my daughters to be like my little assistant, like a, ball catcher in tennis because this is a little bit hard to juggle it all. Okay, we're learning. This is the first one. We'll get better. Okay, then we're gonna add, let's see. This is a tablespoon of orange zest. If you're not an orange fan, you could totally leave it out. I love the orange zest because I think it pairs really nicely with the pecans and with the cloves that are coming next. So if you have the choice, get a microplane that looks like this. These are the wide tooth microplanes because you'll get a lot more orange flavor that way. The little ones, and I had one to show you, but now I don't know where I put it. Well, it kind of looks like this. This is really more of a cheese grater, but see how small that is? You don't get a ton of orange flavor that way. So it's better to kind of, I think, use the thicker one if you can. So a tablespoon of that, and then 1/2 cup of fresh orange juice. So zest the orange, and then you'll have the juice left over, and you can add that. It's about 2 oranges, to be honest. Like a good size navel orange is about a 1/4 cup. If you only have 1 orange, don't worry, you could just use more water, or you could just use like the store-bought orange juice that you have sitting in the fridge. Not a problem. Okay, did we get all of our wet ingredients? I think we did. Okay. Oh, no, wait, the most important part. The water. I love to add water to my muffin recipes because I find that just makes it lighter. I know a lot of you have always asked, can I add milk? And like you could add the milk if that's all you have, or for whatever reason you just wanted to, but most people have water, right? But the milk has fat in it, and it's just going to weigh that muffin down. So try it and see what you think. I think you'll be convinced that the water is the way to go. Okay, so we have a pretty liquidy batter here. That's okay, because we're going to add our dry ingredients in a sec. Let me just tidy this up. Hang on. All right, let's see. And I feel like I should check the chat, make sure nobody has any questions. Yes, all of the metric conversions are in the description or they're on my website. So if you want to print those out, you can. Not a problem. You think I'm doing great? Thanks, Virginia. I don't know. This is hard, but it's fun because I don't have to do any editing or I don't have to actually get the cameras rolling and get the mic going. So in some way, that part is easier. Okay. Yes, in Brazil, we have corn syrup. Yeah. Yeah, I have to try that golden syrup. I've never tried it. Now I'm sort of curious. I bet I could probably get it on Amazon, maybe. What do you guys use it for? What is it mostly in recipes that call for corn syrup? Or do you use it ever plain? Like, do you put it on things like toast and waffles and things? Yes, you could definitely use mandarins instead of oranges. That's good. The only thing with mandarins is they don't have as thick of a skin as navel oranges. So you may need to zest a few of them to get enough zest. Thanks, you guys. I'm glad you think I'm doing great. Okay, well, we'll keep going. I promise the recipe is great. So whatever flaws I may have, just make it up in the recipe. Okay, here we go. So we've got our batter, and now we are going to get our dry ingredients. So let me get my little tray. 1 second. See, I knew you guys were coming, and I got it all organized here. Here we go. So this is how, like, when we would do shoots, we would put this, like for King Community, when we're doing shoots and stuff, I would have these all on trays. And it just makes it so much easier to move all your ingredients so you're not having to move all this stuff separately, right? So we have our salt, we have our flour, we have baking soda, baking powder, and cloves, and my little tools here. Okay. I also think it might be fun, like when we do these lives, the weekend before or the few days before, to go through the ingredients and to kind of show you what you might need. Because, you know, there's always an opinion or two about the better ingredients to use. So it might be helpful, or the tools, so you guys know what's coming. All right, this is anybody actually cooking along? I would actually find that very interesting. Or you can just sit back and relax. That's fun too. But let me know if you're cooking along. That would be fun. All right, 2 cups of all-purpose flour here. So you don't need to get fancy with the flour. Regular all-purpose. All you need. You certainly could use a gluten-free flour if you liked. I don't know. I have gone through a lot of different gluten-free flours, to be honest. Tell me what your favorite brands are. I really love I think it's called Cup for Cup. Do you guys know that flour? I've seen it in Whole Foods. You can get it on Amazon. I think it's the best. I think it's like the most convincing if you need a recommendation. Okay, salt. We're going to do half a teaspoon of salt. And then we've got our 2 tablespoons of baking powder. So that's going to go in. Okay, now this is the best part, I think, of this recipe. It might just be me because I'm really obsessed with ground cloves, especially this time of year. They're so delicious. If you're really not a fan, and I know that there are people that are not, it's sort of you go either way with it because it is strong. I'm just transported. I smell this. It's Christmas to me. It's fall. It's being in my parents' house at Christmas time with their orange pomeander balls, which my dad used to always make. You put the cloves in them, and I can hear Bing Crosby and being in that front hall. It's amazing how like fragrances can take us places. Anyway, that's where I go when I smell this. But they're really good. And I think with this muffin, with the orange and the pecans, it's so great. You don't need a lot. So you just need about a 1/4 teaspoon. And that's going to go. If you've never tried it, it's actually worth going out and buying just a little jar. Like you probably can get it for under $1 of ground cloves because it makes all the difference. These muffins would be really good too with cranberries. So we can't get the cranberries yet here. They usually come around November, around Thanksgiving. But you could use dried cranberries. That would be good. Soak them in a little orange juice though, because that will plump them up and make them less kind of dry. Okay, we've got our dry ingredients. Let me get rid of this. Hang on. This here. Okay, now we are going to stir this up. There. Now. All right, here we go. A little bit at a time is going to go in our dry ingredients, right? So do you want to see this? There. Is that better? There we go. Okay, so we're going to do about 1/3 here. And, you know, the secret, here we come again. I got to figure this out. Maybe a bigger laptop screen would work. I don't know. I think the stool. Someone recommended a stool, and now I see why. Okay, so we're going to whisk this up. Back up. There we go. I love this little gadget. I know you guys have heard me talk about it, but it's so great. It's the Danish dough whisk. I have been using it ever since my Aunt Mallory sent it to me. So thank you, Aunt Mallory, if you're watching. This is my new favorite thing. Because they whisk up muffins without over whisking them. And there are people who will actually say the best muffins actually have clumps of flour in it. I don't know if I would take it that far, but the point being, you don't want to over mix a muffin because you will end up getting like a tough muffin. So that's why I like the Danish dough whisks, because they just mix it without over mixing. Here, okay, just have a little bit more, and we're gonna add that. Then we have to add our pecans. So here we go. We've got half a cup of the pecans going in. If you don't like nuts, you can leave them out. It's totally fine. You could use walnuts. That's good too. Yeah. Or someone asked about chocolate chips. You could use chocolate chips in this if you didn't put the crumb topping on top or the cloves. Because I think the combination of the chocolate and the orange is great. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a great combo. But when you have the crumb and you've got the cloves, that might get a little funky. So anyway, my opinion. Okay, see how easy that was? Now we're ready to spoon them up. All right, so I am making jumbo muffins because I have realized I don't have any more of these little parchment papers, and I keep forgetting to order them. So I only have the jumbo ones. If you have a regular standard 12 cup, just use that. You'll get 12 or you'll get 6 jumbo. I really like the jumbo. I don't know. I find that they just look really elegant and beautiful when they're all baked up. So I use the jumbo and then line them with something. So I like these parchment paper liners because they just don't stick. Okay, then we are going to fill this up. Here we go. And really 2 scoops of an ice cream scooper is what it'll take. And I'm using a 2-ounce ice cream scooper because I find that that is the easiest size. And I know this might be really persnickety, but I think it's important to be very conscious of how you fill these because you want the same quantity so that the muffins bake at the same rate. And this is something that was drilled into me when I used to work in a bakery. That was my first job when I was 16. Actually, I was 15, but they were so desperate for help because it was around Thanksgiving and they needed someone to make pies. So I raised my hand, of course, because that didn't even seem like work. I was like, wait, what? You're going to pay me to make pies? But one of the reasons why it's so important when you work in food service is because they have to be able to sell the baked good at the same exact price. So if someone gets a little muffin and someone gets a big one, there's going to be a problem. But it also helps the home cook because you will know that everything will be baked at the same time. So you won't have a muffin that's burnt and then one that's sort of, not quite cooked yet. So that's the other reason. All right, there we go. Sorry, this is like taking time here. I want to hear what you guys are excited to make for fall. This is a weird fall, I have to say. I usually this time of year, once the weather starts to cool, I'm getting very excited for Thanksgiving and all of my holiday content and Christmas. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know what that's going to look like this year. Like, we're here in LA, so I know the virus is different for different parts of the world, but it's still pretty bad here. Although the cases are kind of going down, so it's good, but it's not over in any sense. I guess it's not really over for anybody, is it? So we got to get through these holidays somehow. And I think all of our favorite recipes, nobody can take that away from us, right? We just may not be able to have the huge crowds we had, but I don't know. I want to know what would be helpful this year. Maybe recipes with smaller quantities might be good. If you're not going to be having a big crowd over, just makes me so sad, We'll have to make it up next year. I'll have like 25 people for Thanksgiving. I usually have about 20. Okay, this looks good, right? Okay, any questions? Sorry, I don't want to ignore you guys. I know you're all in there, and I have to read the comments. Okay, let's see. Oh, Cape Town, South Africa. Wow, what time is it there? I don't even know what time zone that is. Feels like it would be late, no? Okay. Oh, Jack Rudin. Special thanks to Jack Rudin. One of my subscribers, such a good guy, has volunteered to moderate this chat, which is so awesome. So thank you, Jack. So appreciate that. I don't even really know what that means, but maybe is he communicating with you guys? I hope so. I hope that's how it works. What is the name? Oh, yeah. The name of the flour that I get from Whole Foods. Oh, maybe it's in my fridge. Let's see. Okay. This could be kind of messy. You're going to really see how it all works. So excuse the mess if there's a mess in here. Here it is. It is called Cup for Cup. Do you see Cup for Cup? Hope they don't get mad at me for showing their trademark. But hey, we're saying we love it. We love you guys. You're great. I discovered this because my husband has been on a slightly gluten-free diet lately. And so I'm always looking for things for him. And I used it one Sunday morning in my blueberry waffle recipe. If you guys have never tried those waffles, you've got to try them. They are so good. I used the gluten-free flour. I didn't tell anybody because, of course, my kids, when I tell them there's something different, they're like, "Ooh, we don't want to try it." And people would scarf them up. No one could tell the difference. Actually, my dad was here one morning and he couldn't tell the difference either. If Dad's waiting in the chat somewhere, I use the gluten-free flour on you. So it's really great. So I highly recommend that. Definitely a good one. Okay, now we've got to get our crumb topping here. You know what? Let me get a sponge. Hang on one second. I've kind of made a bit of a mess. Which, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have a sponge. Here we go. We're gonna use this little rag just so we tidy up a bit. Okay. So you can, if you have a question and I don't get to it, I think these questions will show up after the live, and then I can go into the comments. I can't go into the live chat, but I can go into the comment and answer it that way. So I think that will work. We'll see. We'll get better at this somehow. Okay, now you can see. Let's tilt this. Okay, we've got our muffins. We've got our crumb topping. Don't be shy with the crumb topping because it really is the best part. Okay, so we're going to do about a tablespoon or so on each little muffin, just like so. Now, this would also be a great Christmas morning breakfast idea, and these freeze beautifully. So if you needed to do this ahead of time, I would just bake the muffins and then put them in like a Ziploc bag, put them in your freezer, and then to reheat them, you could either pop them in the oven or you could also put them in the microwave. And they're really good. They taste like they're fresh baked. So I love things that you can freeze ahead. And these are one of them. Okay, there. Now, because I knew you were coming, I planned ahead. we're not going to wait for these to bake. Instead, I have some that I baked this morning, which, of course, was just killing my kids. They couldn't eat them. But I told them you were coming and they couldn't have one until after. But now they're going to have 12 of these muffins because I got these. That's why we're going to freeze them. Okay. Here we go. Now, ta-da! This is what they look like. See? Now, they are not in all of their glory yet because one thing I like to do is just hit them with a little powdered sugar. I think it just looks pretty. You don't have to. I mean, we got a lot of sugar going here between the crumb topping and what's inside, but just a dusting, see? Because it just makes everything look prettier. I think because the crumb topping has great texture in it, it just makes it look a bit snow dusted, for the holidays or for fall. I would just wait until they're totally cool. So don't put this on until they're cool because what will happen is the heat will actually melt your sugar. There. Okay. Now, here is the best part. I got to show you the texture. But I need a knife. Hang on. I'll be back. One sec. Here I am. Okay. Got to remember that. See, all these things I need to remember for next time. Okay. We're going to cut into this. Maybe I should, let's see. All right. Here's why I like the parchment paper. See how this just kind of peels off and you don't end up with like half your muffin being stuck to a pan or those little like foil liners, I think. See, it almost looks like a little coffee cake. Isn't that yummy? Okay, now I'm going to cut it. And you can see inside. Oh my gosh, these are so good. I usually will like cut them in quarters when I serve them for my kids because they're just like easier to eat that way. Can we just talk about the texture? I know it might be hard to see. Let's see. Go see. It's so light and fluffy. And you've got the orange zest and you've got the pecans. And then when you bite into it, you've got the crunchy crumb at the top. They're so good. Should we try it? Maybe I can explain it. Oh my gosh. You guys, I think you're gonna love these. These are so delicious. They're like a warm, cozy blanket. Which I don't know about you, but that's what I need right now. I hope that you try these. Come back and leave a message and let me know what you thought. Maybe they're in the oven right now so that when people are watching this on the replay, they'll know what to expect. All right, should we listen to some more comments here that I can answer? I have my tea. It's really like you've come over. All right, let's see. I gotta put my glasses on. Here we go. Okay. Oh, love from South Korea. Wow, that is far. Hi, South Korea. Yes, that's great. Recipes that you can make and easily deliver to elderly family members who can't get out. You know, I was thinking about that, you know, like Christmas cookies and things that you could bring or send or quick breads. I think that's a lovely idea. I really do. That's great. I know. You need a bite. You've got to try them. I'm telling you, you will love these. They're so good. And I bet you probably have most of the ingredients. Wouldn't you want to just whip that up? It's so good. All right, you guys. Yes, more healthy recipes. We can definitely do that. Post a recipe for levain cookie. Oh, I'm in Paris and dying to taste it. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Yes. Lorenzo, hi. It's all about the make ahead philosophy. Like, seriously, it's what saves you with the entertaining, because I think the thing that people don't realize is they have all these ideas of what's going to make a great brunch or a great dinner. You get all the recipe down, you get the ingredients, and then you start cooking. And in your mind, you forget that there are people in your kitchen with you and they're talking with you and they want to know about your job and they want to know about the kids, and you don't factor that in. And so if you're having to measure and talk, that's just not going to be good. If everything's sort of assembled and all you have to do is like put it together while people are there chatting, it makes things go so much quicker and easy, and you don't stress out. Because I find if people stress out, they're like one and done with the parties and they don't want to have people over again, which is really sad. So I think that the pre-planning, it's all about the pre-planning. All right, you guys, I think that's it. Let me know. These are so fun. Oh my God, the glasses, aren't they hilarious? The glasses, Byron, these, I got 10 on Amazon because I'm always losing them. I probably am at the point where I need my little necklace, which feels really granny to me, but I'm kind of feeling like I might need to embrace that. I had some better ones, but I dropped them on the floor yesterday and then my daughter walked in the kitchen and stepped on them. So I don't have those anymore. I've got these now. All right, you guys, I will see you soon. I know I need to embrace the granny. I actually think too, when, you know, hopefully one day I'll have grandkids, I think they should call me granny because I think there's something really spunky about being a granny. Although in my family, my mom's family, everybody called her Grammy. So there's that. Anyway. All right, you guys. All right, I will wrap it up. I will get off the stage. Thank you so much for joining me. This was so much fun. And be sure to check out Give Essentials. Everything is in the description. I hope we can get them to their $100,000 goal. We're at the end here. So it's end of September. They've been doing this all month, and I would love to know that some of my community helped them get there. So you can donate product. So if you have like a case of shampoo sitting in the garage, you don't know what to do with, they can use that, because a lot of these essential workers can't get to the store on time. They're working crazy hours and they need these things shipped to them. Or they're also looking for cash donations. So even if it's a few dollars here and there, you know what they say, little drops make the river. So anyway, I hope you guys check them out, and I'll see you next time. I think we should do this again. Let me know what you want to learn to bake, and let's do baking Sundays. I think that could be fun. All right, you guys, thanks for showing up, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, this is always the fun part. Oh, here, end stream.